This is just a review summary of what I was working on. um, so there's three instances here. There's a management. There's three EC2 Amazon Web Services servers here. One of them is a management server. The others are web and database. Now, let me open something up just to walk through it. So, we'll write up about what. Okay, so this was to use Ansible, and Ansible is a piece of software which is used to automate server configuration and deploy servers and customize them with software upgrades, etc. It's a DevOps operation, or it's a DevOps tool. And so what that means is that with this management server, I can run an Ansible script which goes out and runs operations on these two machines. So let me see here. Right. So it started with a running CloudFormation. Let me jump to CloudFormation here. You can create a stack, meaning, okay, so a stack is just a pile of different resources that you can create. You can define a template, which is defined in either a JSON or a YAML file. Here it's a JSON file using a format version that was dated by Amazon in 2010. And in this, you upload this file to Amazon. Sure, I'll just go ahead and do that. JSON. Where's the JSON? There it is. And this JSON calls for some input parameters. Your IP address /32 for CIDR notation. That's good enough. So in here, we'll just step through the JSON quickly. This isn't very interesting. Here we're okay. Here we're describing the PEM file, the security file. I don't know what you want to call it right now. You create a VPC on this IP range, IP block. You create a public subnet. Oh, I thought I had a second subnet. Okay, that's worrying. And on that public subnet, you create a EC2 instance. And look at this. You can see that the AWS EC2 subnet is a variation. It runs on an EC2 instance. A lot of things run on EC2 instances, including VPCs. So they're just virtual hardware. So we're doing this web server. We do the database. Web server. We do the management web server. All in the same subnet. This you can quite clearly read the bash commands on what's going on that web server. We have a security group, TCP 22 for shell connections, incoming, so you can remote in, set up an internet gateway, attach it to the VPC, do the routing table, add a route to the routing table, associate this routing table to the public subnet. Where is it? And then here's where you define your parameters. So here we're calling for your key pair, and your IP address. And then it also outputs a couple things. So that's good enough. And this is the stack that it creates. This you can generate from, if I create the stack, boop, upload this, view in Designer, we can see it. These are just, as I go through, these are the inputs. You test it, you SSH in. Let's just SSH in real quick. Right. So the contents on this EC2 are of interest is this playbook. So let's take a look at that. Let's create the file, configure the server, we create the playbook, we edit the playbook, and then some of the requirements in this playbook. And this is a typora. It's a much nicer way to create markdown files rather than writing them in Notepad++ like I used to do. You can just create things. Well, you still write it in Markdown, but it formats it visually so you can see what's going on. And you can even do like check these things. Kind of cool. So here's an Ansible. Here is the Ansible script in better, more readable than this version. So what this is doing is it's saying for all of the servers. So in Ansible script, in YAML, oh that's annoying. You have these, gosh, how am I going to do this? Oh, typewriter mode. View. Focus. Oh no, not view. What is that? Interesting. View focus mode is. So let's see what focus mode is. Yeah, sure, that's cool. So, no. In a YAML file, it starts with a dash like that because it's a list. We can see that at the root level there is a list of different names, parent hierarchies, and those names, if you drill down or if you just go down to the next level, this is the start of the list. This is whatever you want to type here to describe it. It's running on all hosts. Become means become, gain a level of security. It's sudo access. Here it's sudo access by default, and so if you wanted to change the become, you could change it to a different security level. Variables, it's calling for a variable here, or this is a variable that will be used. And again, this is running on all servers. And then the tasks. This is another list inside of tasks, denoted by these dashes to indicate that in YAML notation or syntax. This is just whatever you want to write. So what this is doing is you gave it the name, and YAML, by the way, is written in Python apparently, and it's runnable on Linux, Unix. The yum here says yum everything to the latest edition that's out there using package manager. Yum. Then we're going to create user administrator variable. All right, so give it a password. This is a variable. Sometimes people put spaces here. I didn't. And then a plain text password. Okay, so that ran on all the hosts, and now we're going to run something on one of the hosts named web1, just like we'll do for database 1. And this is install Nginx and more, Nginx. So we're yumming this using the latest edition or the version that's available. Oh, right, okay, service. So we're checking that this service is up and running. I create a directory, and I copy a J2 template with details. On the database server, we're just as before. We need sudo access, so we're becoming yes. Here's another list. Installing MySQL Server, ensuring it's up using the MySQL daemon. And then, sure, so here we have file, destination, state with sequence. So in Ansible, you can also use loops. And then I push it to a GitHub repo. And this is, you can see, I used the command history to see from start to finish. I didn't add timestamps on here, but oh, I really should do that. Let me give this a pause. So I've got history on here now, so I can see how long this took. So on the 16th at 4 o'clock goes until the 6th. Shoot. That's the current time. Alright, well, I have to do things, so this doesn't actually show when I was running things. I mean, it's the 16th, it's 9 a.m., the time is... anyways. You can see that I spent a lot of time testing the creation of the Ansible playbook. Took me many attempts to get it right. Somewhere in there you enter your username and password for GitHub as well. That's it. Oh, let me just close this. And let me shut down this entire stack here. CloudFormation. So you use CloudFormation, you upload a JSON, and it creates all the instances and services that are described in that template. And this takes a while, and sometimes it fails. And the reason that it might fail is because I have to go to S3, simple storage, S number 3. Okay, those are just logs. So it looks like I don't have a bucket that houses the JSON file here, probably because I uploaded it. Well, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes these will fail. You gotta go into the S3 bucket and delete it. Thanks.